Hey guys, coming at you today with a yummy fall dessert, some delicious keto pumpkin cinnamon twists. So, let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, thanks for joining me. My name's Alycia. I'm a pastry chef with a sweet tooth, and now I own a keto gluten-free bakery, and I'm here to show you all the tips and tricks on how to make the best recipes possible. So if you enjoy my recipes, please hit the subscribe button down there, give the video a thumbs up, leave me comments, and share with all your friends and family. It all helps me, my bakery, my channel grow and bring you new recipes every Saturday. Today, my first pumpkin recipe of the season, although I don't know what else to do with pumpkin because I literally have bread, cake, cookies, pie, mousse, pumpkin roll. I got lots of pumpkin recipes, but I did figure out a new one and it is pretty delicious. I adapted it from my cinnamon roll recipe, and I have even figured out some more tips and tricks on that dough recipe. And it took me a couple tries to get the pumpkin incorporated in it, but it turned out delicious. I looked up like what you can sub pumpkin puree for in recipes, and they literally said the oil, the butter, the milk, the eggs. So it took me a couple of tries to swap different things and figure out the best swap to make. So let's get started on this delicious pumpkin twist recipe. Okay, so it is basically my cinnamon roll dough, but I cut it in half. So this is gonna make 8 pumpkin twists. You can definitely double it, but you need probably 2 silk pads, or you're gonna need 2 pans with parchment paper, because we're making the dough a little bit thinner than the cinnamon roll. So we're making a bigger rectangle out of just a half batch of dough. We're gonna start with a 1/4 cup of granular erythritol sweetener. I prefer monk fruit erythritol. I just weigh it all out because it's a lot easier than trying to find the measuring cups and all that other stuff. To that, we're gonna add 2 room temperature eggs. I found that the large eggs at BJ's have been bigger than 50 grams each, and then the ones at Walmart have been smaller than 50 grams each. So I definitely do suggest weighing your eggs out. You should get about 100 grams of egg. If you're off by like a couple of grams, it's not gonna matter. It's just if they're way bigger, it might make the dough a little bit too sticky. So I picked kind of like a small and a big one. They're all very different sizes. Yeah, so that ended up being just 1 gram over when that last one was a couple grams under. So that's it for in the bowl right now. I'm gonna set that over on the mixer, which I need to get my mixer in frame. Forgot about that. I literally haven't been using my mixers in any videos because I've been doing candy videos a lot. So it's been a nice break from using my mixer every day, but I haven't moved it over to be in the frame. I have made this dough without the mixer, and it does work. You just gotta kind of work it a little bit to get the dough to be stiff enough, get that gelatin and xanthan gum all like worked in there and stuff, but it is doable. Next, we're gonna weigh out our pumpkin. I landed on subbing a little bit of the milk for the pumpkin. I tried the egg and it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, so I did another experiment. I didn't want to take out any butter because you need butter in keto baked goods to keep them soft and moist. Same thing with egg. Egg helps your baked goods not be as dry, especially when using coconut flour. So 2 ounces or 56 grams of pumpkin. So we're not using a ton of pumpkin in this, but again, we're only doing 8, which I was looking up regular pumpkin cinnamon roll recipes and they only added about a half cup. So this is a 1/4 cup for kind of a half batch. But like I said, I got tons of other pumpkin recipes you can go check out to use up all your pumpkin. Oh, I forgot, I have pumpkin pie ice cream too. So if you're an ice cream person that eats ice cream all year round, that's a good one. Oh, and cheesecake. I have so many pumpkin recipes. We need 2 ounces of a low carb milk. I believe in my cinnamon roll, I did half heavy cream, half water. That works also. But with that added pumpkin, it definitely adds enough moisture to the twist that you don't need all the fat of the heavy cream. Oh, 56, whoop, too much. So we are doing the bloomed inulin and yeast in this. We're not gonna be proofing these though, because the nice thing about cinnamon rolls is they're all in a pan together. So it keeps them together and rise up. Because we're doing twists and putting them on a pan, when you proof them, they end up proofing out instead of up. So we're gonna be baking this right away. So it probably isn't that crucial that you do the whole blooming the yeast thing, but it adds flavor and I'm sure it helps with the texture a little bit. So we're gonna heat this up so that it's around 100 degrees. Doesn't take very long at all because it's a very little amount of milk. You need 2 ounces of butter. So very simple. It's 2 ounces, 2 ounces, 2 ounces, 2 eggs. It was a very easy recipe to remember. I missed. We're gonna melt that once we get our yeast and inulin blooming. It's 1 teaspoon of inulin and a half tablespoon of yeast. Inulin is the only thing that I found will bloom yeast that's keto, but you can definitely use a tiny bit of honey or maple syrup. Give that a stir. I also have my oven preheated to 375 already, just because that helps the yeast bloom if you're not up, you know, too hot. Like this was only at 100 degrees. Yeah, it's only at 92. So even if you don't get it up that high, keeping it in a warm spot will still bloom the yeast. So if you do it too hot, you could kill your yeast. So I always err on the side of caution and then just put it in a warm spot. We're gonna melt our butter and then we just need to get our dry ingredients together. Make sure all your butter is stirred and melted in there. Now that it's not hot out, you don't have to worry about it too much, but if all your ingredients are too hot and it's hot in your house, the dough will be a lot stickier. I found that out the hard way working with this dough during the summer. I was getting results that I was like, why is this happening? And that's why. Just keep that in mind if it's hot in your house. So I kept the same measurements as my cinnamon roll dough, only I halved it. And added a little bit of pumpkin spice to it. So 55 grams of unflavored whey protein isolate. I just weigh it like I said because it's so much easier, but it is a half cup plus 3 tablespoons. 12 grams of a beef gelatin. Beef gelatin is a little bit more stronger gelling than like a pork unflavored and stuff like that. So you may need more if you don't have beef gelatin. So it should be 1 tablespoon plus 3/4 of a teaspoon. Again, that's why I just weigh it out. I may need to open up a new bag of xanthan gum. We need 1.5 teaspoons or 6 grams. Definitely need to open a new bag. Hold please. Now I don't know what it is about keto ingredients and being like all different. I've been sticking with Anthony's xanthan gum, but I feel like bag to bag, they're different. And even, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, it's like a lot yellower. Like you can see that, I don't know if you can see the color difference or not, but like that worries me. Like I wonder why, is this gonna be a different gelling strength than the last bag I had? You know what I mean? Keto ingredients are not as reliable as like just all-purpose flour, you know? 1.5 or 6 grams, right? That was only 5. That's 6. Worries me, I guess we'll see what happens. I literally just made a batch of these this morning, so I know exactly what the thickness and stuff of the dough is supposed to feel like. So we'll see. And then the only things I sift in this is the coconut flour, baking powder, and the pumpkin spice that I use. I use one I make homemade because I'm not a huge nutmeg person. I like to be able to control like what spices are in it, so I'll have mine below of what I put in my pumpkin spice. Half tablespoon of baking powder. Should be 5 grams. I always try to just make it 5 grams even if I'm, you know, using the half tablespoon. Then the back of the package says 2 tablespoons of coconut flour is 15 grams. I never really find that to be accurate. I always just weigh it. This coconut flour is like kind of clumpy, so that was 6. That was only 11, and we need 15. So 4 grams is kind of a big difference, especially coconut flour is so absorbent. 1 teaspoon, pretty absorbent. I even think brands of coconut flour might have different absorbency rates. I've stuck with Great Value brand ever since like the beginning of my YouTube channel. I think it tastes the least like coconut to me anyways. Other people still taste it. I really can't taste it in my recipes most of the time. Okay, then the last ingredient is bamboo fiber. You can just add more coconut flour if you want. It just ups the carbs a little bit, but I found they can pretty much be swapped for each other. 22 grams, or it should be 1/3 of a cup, kind of evened out. That was 24. 22. I just find bamboo fiber does give a little bit softer of a texture too, and a little bit less grainy, because coconut flour has that little bit, less than almond flour to me, but still has a little bit in there. This whole time you're doing this, you can have your sweetener and eggs whipping up a little bit, but I don't want the mixer running while I'm talking. So Our yeast is ready to go. We're just gonna whisk this, add our butter, add our milk and yeast, pumpkin, and then the dry ingredients. You stop and scrape down, get all that sweetener in there. And the warm butter and milk will help dissolve that sweetener a little bit more, so you don't need to get a lot of volume on your eggs. The main thing is getting the sweetener dissolved a little bit. Scrape all that pumpkin in. Add all your whisked dry ingredients in. We're gonna need either a very well greased piece of parchment or a lightly greased silk pad to roll this out. I feel like I looked orangier this morning. Hope I didn't mess up any measurements. Should be good. Don't need our mixer no more. Oh, that didn't work. Oh. Alright, I messed up my shot. Make sure I keep all this in frame for you. Get rid of the whisk. Okay, so it should be a pretty stiff dough, hopefully. Seems stiffer and more smooth this morning, but wasn't that xanthan gum. Okay, I have my silk pad here. I also have a half sheet tray with parchment paper, because we are gonna put this on a sheet tray to chill for a minute. And the parchment is for when we go and twist them. It'll already be there. So I greased it, putting it on our dough. I always like to get all the dough out because it's all counted in the macros. Now we want to do this about 12 by 9. So I got a ruler here and we're gonna spray. You can just use your spatula to start if you want, kind of getting it into the relative rectangle shape we want. But we can also roll it with a rolling pin. If you're gonna touch it with your hands, definitely oil them up. This dough is really cold because the pumpkin was, room temperature. But we can also make sure you oil the rolling pin and also roll it out. I like to kind of get the edges all nice and rectangled. I do have the 1/4 inch bands, but I don't think we're going exactly a 1/4 inch on it. It's almost 12, a little bit more that way, but let's check here. We have to go more both ways. We're at 12 and about 8. And do about 12 by 8.5. Should be good. Having it all even isn't a big deal. You know me though, I'm a perfectionist. I always want it to be perfect. We're at about 8.5. Okay, onto a sheet tray to chill for about 10 minutes in the fridge, and that's just help it be a little bit easier to work with once we get the filling on it. I'm just gonna set a timer, and then we're gonna get our cinnamon and pumpkin pie spice sugar to put in the middle of our pumpkin twists. Okay, the filling is very simple because I did the whole butter cinnamon spread in the middle of it, and the butter just seeped out and didn't add much to it. Like, I don't think it needs more butter. It's so soft and fluffy already. You don't need that extra fat in there. So I just did a brown sugar substitute and pumpkin pie spice and cinnamon to dust on our twists. So I found 2.5 tablespoons or 30 grams of golden sweetener. Feel free to change this up to whatever you like. I'm doing a 1/2 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice and a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. I always think a little bit more cinnamon is better, but that's just me. The first couple tests I did, I put a lot of cinnamon and didn't do any pumpkin spice. It was pretty strong, but if you want to do the same ratios as my cinnamon rolls, just obviously cut it in half because we're only doing a half batch. But that's what I used in my first tests. It was pretty cinnamony, especially without the butter, because the butter kind of dilutes the cinnamon a little bit. If you have your favorite recipe, I can just show you the way to substitute our sweeteners and flours, and you can make your specific recipe if you have one. And I saw the pumpkin cinnamon rolls on Facebook. I'm not a part of any groups, but I see them as I scroll, like sourdough discard and stuff like that, because I'm a baker and I love baking in general. So I read them still, even though I'm not making like regular, you know, baked goods, and it gives me ideas. So that is our filling. We got less than 5 minutes, and then we're gonna grab those out, top them, cut them, fold them, and bake them. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes, so obviously I'll put up a note, but if you didn't have your oven preheated already, make sure it's at 375 before it goes in the refrigerator. So it should be nice and stiff now. Just gonna sprinkle this all over. I'm just gonna spread it out with my hands too. Make sure it's all kind of stuck on there. Make sure you get all the way to the edges. Okay. Now, I do them 1.5 inches wide, and you'll get 8 twists. Try to go straight down. I'm not the best at it. If you have one of those roller pastry cutters, the one I have just isn't good enough. Like, I need to invest in a better one because the wheels are too wobbly on it. So I end up getting very uneven slices, which you don't want. I might take that little bit off because I don't like it. Okay, now I just fold them all up like this. Make sure you have your pan as close to you as you can. Make sure they're kind of stuck together on the ends. Twist, and another twist. And onto your baking sheet. It might rip a little bit, but still bake up good. Twist and a twist. They do look best with 2 twists. You can just do one if you want, but feel free to do these in cinnamon rolls. I feel like if you just roll them and put them into like a regular like muffin pan, like a silicone muffin pan, they'd be a good little pumpkin cinnamon roll. I just wanted to do something a little bit different. And my initial thought with these was making like a cream cheese dipping thing. So they're like pumpkin dippers. Okay, they are all set to go in the oven. 375, 16 to 18 minutes depending on your oven. My oven temperature varies crazy. So I'm gonna put them in for 9, give them a rotate, and then I'll check and see 8 or 9 more minutes. Okay, it's been 17 minutes. And it looks like they can use 1 more minute, but I think they're pretty much done. My oven didn't shoot up super hot, but it's not quite at 375 either, I don't think. So 1 more minute and we'll pull those out. We gotta let them cool, and then we can put a little icing drizzle on them. Okay, now they're all nice and golden brown. Super soft, but not mushy. I'll probably throw them in the fridge to cool them faster, but they're best at room temperature. So you don't wanna chill them too much. You wanna have them out at room temperature to enjoy. While those are cooling, we can get the cream cheese and butter ready for our drizzle because they got to be at room temperature. So I'm going to leave my oven on, and I'm going to get a tiny bit of cream cheese and butter in a container and put it where it's kind of warm on my stovetop just to soften up the cream cheese and butter. This is a very small amount because we're just drizzling each one and you don't need a lot of frosting, but feel free to double or triple this and use it as like a dipping sauce for your pumpkin twists. So we just need a 1/2 ounce or 14 grams of cream cheese. Get off my spatula. Oh, almost 14. And then just 7 grams or a 1/2 tablespoon of butter. So up to 21 grams. That should be fine. So I'm just gonna set that on my stove while we let the twists cool. Okay, time to make this super simple icing for these guys. My butter and cream cheese are super soft now. I actually pulled it away from the back of my oven because it was getting really melty. So you just want them nice and soft so that they mix together well. And then we're gonna add 15 grams of a powdered sweetener. You can use an allulose one, but it may take longer to dry and it might not fully dry at room temperature. And it may dry and then get wet again because allulose like draws out the moisture of things. 15 grams, or it's about 2 tablespoons. Smidgen of vanilla extract. I did 1/8 of a teaspoon, but like it's really hard to get just 1/8. A lot of times I'll do this if I want to do a real tiny amount, because every time I use it and pour straight from the bottle, I end up getting more than I need. You mix that together. Then you're just gonna add enough of a low carb milk, water, whatever, to make it a pipeable consistency. You don't wanna add too much because then it won't harden at room temperature. Last time I did this, my stuff was soupy because I had heated up the butter and cream cheese, but I still only added like a teaspoon or 2. I measured out a 1/2 ounce, but I didn't use a 1/2 ounce. So I'm just gonna do 7 grams, so 1/4 ounce, or do 8, probably about 2 teaspoons. That should be good. Mine was a little bit runnier last time, but it's because it was warmer. As long as it's pipeable, which this should be. Maybe I'll do the rest. So 2 teaspoons. I just have these disposable piping bags. They're pretty cheap. I think it's like $8 for 100 of them or something like that. They come in handy for a lot of these little, drizzles and stuff like that. But you can just use a Ziploc if you want to. Go. Hey, I just unstuck them from the parchment paper. I do a pretty decent size tip on it. Just drizzle back and forth. Should be just enough for all of pumpkin twists. Oh, hand cramp. Carved pumpkins yesterday. My hand, not so used to it anymore. Use it all up. It's all counting in the macros. There you go. 8 pumpkin cinnamon twists. I believe they're 1 net carb each. I'll put up the nutrition facts here. Okay, so they're completely dried, room temp. They're super soft and bready. Go great with a cup of coffee. It's too late for me to have coffee. Soft, a little bit chewy, cinnamon, a little bit of the warm spices from the ginger and nutmeg. This would be a delicious addition to any Christmas or Thanksgiving morning. A cup of coffee. It's so soft and chewy. I haven't had one of my cinnamon rolls in a long time because I never get to make my own recipes, but soon I'll be working on being available to ship cinnamon rolls. And these might be in some surprise bakery boxes coming up too. And only 1 net carb. There is sugar alcohols quite a bit because you got the ones inside, the frosting on top, but at least you know all the ingredients. You can name them all. So good. So I hope you guys enjoy this recipe and try it out for yourself. If you do, you can always tag me on Instagram at Keto Upgrade Chef or on my Facebook page at Keto Upgrade. I love seeing pictures of all your keto creations. Prove those people wrong that I get comments saying, no one will make these. This is too complicated. It's complicated because it's good, and I explain it so that it comes out right every time. Don't forget to check out my Amazon shop page. The link is down in the description box below, along with the blog link to the full recipe. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, I'll be back with more keto, low-carb, healthy meals, desserts, and snack recipes. Bye, guys. Happy keto baking!